Hello.
Let me, all right, let me see. Okay, good morning, everyone. It's good to be with you. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what leadership, I believe, looks like during a crisis. I've learned a lot about crisis because we had to deal with 9/11 at Walt Disney World. I had to deal with opening Disneyland Paris and losing $1 million a day because we started off in a very rough situation. We have lots of hurricanes we have to deal with up to 200,000 people on our property. There's one crisis after another in business and certainly in our personal lives too. And leadership is often the thing that makes it go better or go worse, depending on the strength of the leader. And I guess I could just tell you that if you're not a leader by the time the crisis comes, you're not going to have a very good outcome and very good situation. Not that you need to change anything when you're in a crisis. The thing you got to do is just spend more time on it and be more focused on it. And if you don't have credibility already with your team, and if they don't trust you already, that's not going to be the time to start to try to build that culture, that training, that whole area of people really believing in you and stepping up and being a part of the solution. So I always tell people, don't try to get ready for a big crisis, stay ready. And you really got to think about leadership in a way that, I would say most of your mothers taught you about leadership, about being a person who has empathy, being a person who is disciplined. One of the main things missing a lot of times with leaders is they don't have the discipline to stay on track, implement the plan. They don't have the discipline to deal with the hard issues. They don't have the discipline to have the hard conversations with people who are not performing. And slowly but surely, you have a situation where your whole business gets out of control. So I would tell you two things I think about a lot is good leaders, like good mothers, have empathy. They love you. And they have discipline. They don't mind telling you what they think and trying to get you ready for the future and to be ready and to have a good, successful life. So I always tell everybody, when in doubt, manage like a mother. When in doubt, you don't know what to do, call your mother. She'll tell you what to do. And she will be honest. She will not spin it. She will tell you exactly to live by your values, to treat people respectfully, to be clear, to be candid, to be honest, to tell people the truth. And you can do that if you've already established a trusting relationship with them long before the crisis comes. We should be working on this the day we come to grips with it. That, it's when a lot of you became leaders when you were 12 years old, 15 years old. You had jobs, you had responsibility. You took your schoolwork seriously. You had good relationships with people. People supported you because of who you were, not what you did. Nobody cares basically what you do. They care about who are you? Can I trust you? Are you a person who keeps your word? Are you a person who I can rely on? Are you consistent? Do you do what you say you're going to do? Do you keep your promises? Are you credible? Are you reliable? I mean, that's what a customer wants too. That's what they want. I can tell you one thing, customer doesn't care anything about you except for you to solve their problem. That's it. They don't care how many kids you have. They don't care what kind of car you drive. They don't care where you went to school. Everybody in the world has one interest, and that is solve my problem. And to solve my problem, they need to understand and believe that you are the expert, that you're the one they can count on. You're the one that won't let them down. You're reliable. And so somebody said earlier, a few minutes ago, get the relationships. Don't chase the sales, chase the relationships. Get the relationships so strong that before you need somebody, not after. Not, you know, we have all these people that call us right before they're going to ask for something. Make sure you have relationships with people long before. Try to sit down and write down, who do you need to have relationships with? Who do you don't have relationships with? And start working on that. Because at the end of the day, many customers will even pay more if they have the right relationship. Customers will pay more if they trust you. They will, if you're consistent, if you keep your word. Customers, that's worth something. That has value. And we've all ordered things and dealt with businesses that did not come through. And how many times are we sorry that we took that lower price, or we took that promise that they didn't keep? These are things that really make a difference. You know, if you mess with me once and screw it up, I'm not going to do business with you again. You know, everything's a commodity today. You don't have to do business with people over product that much. You have to do business with people over, are they going to deliver? Are they going to, is their product going to be reliable? So I think during these pandemic and any crisis in the world, you got to be adaptable. You've got to probably be willing to change every day, because you're going to get new information. You can't stick, I always tell people, don't fall in love with your ideas. Your idea may be wrong tomorrow. Be open-minded. You know, we got a lot of Americans right now that are a real pain because they're macho and nobody's going to tell them what to do. And, you know, it's disappointing. And I don't trust these people. People say, I'm not going to wear a mask because I'm a big, strong guy and, you know, nobody tells me what to do. Well, I'm never going to do business with that person. I'm never going to forget who that is. And this is the kind of egos we deal with in life, especially men. Women don't have this problem. Men have this problem that they know everything. First of all, you're not as good as you think you are. Don't ever get into that position. I wrote in one of my books, when you become a big deal, don't go around being a big deal. Go around helping people, finding people to help you get better. Actually, people ask me what I did at Disney. I said nothing. I just had people who did something. I made sure things got done. I was not the expert. I had a great engineer. I had a great security team. I had a great purchasing team. I had a great shipping team. I had a great retail team. And people said, well, what'd you do, Lee? I said, nothing. I just made sure I had great people who knew what they were doing. And that's the name of the game. Everything related to your business is people. If you don't have the right people in your organization, and if they don't trust you, they're going to give you about 50% productivity. They're not going to help you be successful. But if they do trust you and they know you have respect for them and you're committed to them, they will be committed to you. And then you'll get 100%. That's the best cost management program in the world. People helping you run your business better, because even when you're asleep at night, they care. They're working on it because you've treated them right. You respect them. You train them. You develop them. You build a culture of respect. And, you know, around the world, we got a problem with that. There's a lot of people who don't feel respected. They don't feel like they matter. They don't feel like people care about them. And let me tell you, when people lose hope, what happens? First, the first little things they do is they're not as productive. When people lose hope, they start stealing from you. When people lose hope, they start undermining the business. When people lose hope, eventually they'll move to violence. We're seeing it in the US right now. We saw it in the 1960s here with African Americans burning the cities, and you know, you have the same kind of issues in India that we do here. It's in every country, frankly. It's a lack of respect. It's a lack of treating everybody respectfully. It's judging people because of where they were born, or are they poor, or because of their education, or because of, well, I don't know, sometimes what region they come from. You know, people in Florida don't like people in New York, and New Yorkers don't like people in South Carolina. And it's total nonsense. And the best leaders forget all that. The only thing you need to be worrying about is keeping your word, doing your job, being consistent, having good relationships, treating everybody respectfully, and doing your best every day. You know, somebody told, do your best every day and then forgive yourself. Tomorrow morning, get up again and do your best. If you made a mistake yesterday, fix it. If you did something wrong, call the client. Tell them you're sorry. Apologize like you mean it. And, you know, you've got to build credibility. Credibility is everything these days. Nobody trusts anybody. Every time I order something on the internet, I'm almost sure it's not going to show up. You know, I'm sure somebody just screwed me, and all this fake stuff. And so we get to where we trust certain brands. And you know what's your brand? Your people and your integrity is your brand. Your people, your integrity, your honesty, that's your brand. Not your trinket, or not your pig, or not your, you know, whatever, your vegetables or pharmaceuticals. You are your brand. Your people are your brand, because there's so many other places we can buy the same thing. And, you know, at Disney, we know our people are our brand. That's it. People know the rides are going to be good. The attractions are going to be good. The shows are going to be good. The hotels are going to be good, but they are shocked at how great our people are. How our people treat everybody. I mean, everybody. And everybody watching this right now today, including me, knows what we have done in the past in our lives of not showing respect to some people. Everybody knows. You know, everyone's done it. You know about it. Everybody denies it, but it's true. We know. If we hooked you up to a polygraph test, it would, and I would ask you, have you ever not respected somebody because of where they're from, or what race or what education? And you said no, you would be lying, because we all have, and we need to get over that, and we need to just focus on treating people right. It's the right thing to do. And when we can do that, your business is going to expand. You have to have empathy. If you don't care about people, they know you don't care about them, because you don't train them, you don't meet them, you don't know their last name, you don't know how many children they have, you don't know about the soccer game last night, you don't know their husband's in the hospital, you don't show any care, you could care less. People know. Everybody knows if you care or not. And if people know you care, they're going to care about you. That's the way life works. You know, everybody puts on a good face, but that doesn't mean they are being productive. That doesn't mean they're telling the truth. I can easily put on a fake smile, and you'll think I'm happy. We know how that game works. I don't believe anything anybody says. I only believe what I see them do. You can tell me anything you want, but that doesn't mean anything to me. It's like Donald Trump, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, this guy is like a disgrace to America. So if you love him, you're not going to like my speech today, because, I mean, it's embarrassing. It's totally embarrassing, but it shows you how many people in our country just don't get it. And you know what happens? People support him because they have an emotional commitment to ignorance. Emotional, macho. I like it. He's mean. He's tough. He's hard. Yeah. People, no, that's not the way to get support from the world, is to beat people up and to raise your voice to them and to treat them badly. There's no upside to this. If you think there is, try it with your wife. Yeah, try it with your wife. Raise your voice to your wife. Tell her, oh, no. There's no upside to making people feel bad and not treating them respect. It's all downside in little ways that you'll never know how it affected your business. And let me tell you, this goes right to the bottom line of your business. This goes right to your sales. This goes right to your costs of doing business. This goes to your reputation. I mean, it's all connected. And sometimes I don't think we know how connected it is. It is all connected. The other things you need to be, is get prepared for future crisis. Get prepared. You don't buy a fire extinguisher after the house burns down. You buy it now. And, you don't start exercising after you have your first bypass surgery. You exercise now. You don't start telling your wife you love her after she leaves you and divorces you. You tell her now. You tell your kids every day you love them, so that they grow up with good respect and honesty and integrity, and that those are the kind of things that, these are the kind of things that matter. Nobody cares anything about me, but can I do something for them? Do they trust me? Do they trust me? That's all. Do they trust me? And I get in trouble all the time because people get mad at me for talking about Donald Trump. And they say, you shouldn't do that. That's politics. It's not politics. It's real life. And I don't care whether they like it or not. I don't care if I lose business over this guy. I don't care if I sell less books. I don't need that anyway. It doesn't even matter. But I'm not going to sit there and be quiet and send the wrong message to my grandchildren and to my family about our ethics, our honesty, our respect for people around the world, because that's who we are. And you got to decide, who are you? Who are you? Because people are judging you every day about everything you say, everything you do. When you ignore them, you don't pay attention to them, you don't show appreciation, recognition, and encouragement to them. These are the things you do in a crisis and every day. Show people appreciation, recognition, and encouragement. Bring people together. It's like us talking right now. We're not in the same room together, but it's still uplifting to get together and talk and listen to these kinds of things. Human contact is very important. People who live alone, there's more dementia. People who live alone, there's more depression. People who live alone, there's more anxiety. So we've got to help. This is as good, do I like this? Yeah, I like this talk this morning because I'll feel better. I don't know if you will, but I'll feel better when I leave because we had a discussion about something important. And maybe somebody got a new idea about how to be better. And when you start being better, you do better. And when you do better, you think better. And when you think better, your business gets better and your personal life gets better and your health gets better. And thinking is a big deal, So most people are so busy they don't think anymore. What should I be working on today? What should I be working on Saturday? What should I be on? Do things on purpose. Make a list of the things you need to do on purpose in the next 30 days, 60 days, and then do them. A lot of those things you're not doing because they're hard. People don't like to do hard things. They like to put them off. People don't like to have hard conversations because it's hard. But when you do hard things, life gets easier. When you do the hard things, your business gets better. If you take the easy way all the time, life is going to get harder. And just be honest, direct, candid, respectful, have humility, be humble, but be clear. Let me tell you, be clear. Just like your mother. Your mother is usually clear, especially Indian mothers. They don't mess around. They worry about two things. Mothers worry about two things: safety for you and education. Did your mother ever talk to you about education? Oh, yeah. I have a lot of Indian friends. Man, their kids are amazing. We have a school where we had 18 valedictorians where my grandkids went to school. About half of them were from India. About 25% were from China, and the rest were women. It's like unbelievable. And safety and education. You should be thinking about that with everybody you know. Safety, education, train them, help them, keep them safe, keep them emotionally safe. When you tell people you appreciate them, you respect them, that helps them emotionally. It helps them believe in themselves. Every day you miss opportunities of doing this, every day. So you ought to pick somebody today and go up to them and say, listen, I haven't talked to you for a while, but I want to tell you, you're doing a great job here. We want you to stay with us. You're the kind of person we need. And I hope you enjoy it here because we think you're just doing great. You think that person will like that? Absolutely. Go home and tell your wife, look her right in the eye and say, honey, I haven't told you for a long time, but I really love you. And she'll say, what's going on? Why are you saying that? But no, she'll get, you know, you got to do things on purpose because we're busy and the week goes by and it's the holidays again and it'll be 2021 and then 2022. And if you don't do things on purpose and think about them, you won't get them done. You won't, because time goes by and we do things that, this time is not on your side. You spend money, you spend time. You can get the money back. Even during this pandemic, I always complained I didn't have enough time. I wanted to create an online academy for leadership, management, and customer service. So I've had 4 months sitting around here. So my partner and I, we developed a Cockerell Academy. It's going to come out in 2 weeks. It's going to be lessons on leadership, management, customer service, time management, how to plan your day, how to decision making, how to be a better decision maker. We're going to do some on how to hire people, how to fire people, and we got it done because we took advantage of the time instead of around sitting worrying about the economy. Do what you can. Don't worry about what you can't do. Focus on something you can do. My granddaughter graduated from college this year. The market is tough for jobs. She got a degree in international business and marketing. She speaks fluent French. She has an EU passport. She's an American. She speaks Spanish. She's had 3 or 4 jobs all the time she was going to college. And so we told her, start your own business. Don't sit around waiting, just start it. And she did. She's got an online business now. And people got to do something. Don't sit around and think, wait for the pandemic to be over. Spend every day calling your old customers, your new customers. Spend every day doing things that are going to make a difference when this is over. Send your customers things that'll help them think about this. There's time is, people say, gosh, this might be in 2 years. Yeah, so you better be doing something before this is over, because 2 years is going to go by anyway, and you can sit around and do nothing, or you can be ahead of the game. And that's what I try to do right now. I'm getting ahead of the game. I'm creating product, and I'm going to sell it, and I'm going to make money sitting here in my house. And that's, you got to adjust. You got to be transparent. Tell the truth. Don't beat around the bush. Be clear with people with empathy and clarity. Empathy and clarity. Even when I fire somebody, I use empathy. I tell them first when they walk in, you're fired, and now I'm going to spend an hour with you telling you why, so I can help you not do this again after I've talked to you 5 times and you've made no changes. Empathy. I want you to be successful. You've got to always, if you don't use empathy and discipline at the same time, you're not going to get the results, because people stop listening. When you're only using discipline, people don't listen. They're thinking about, they're thinking about what they're going to say. They're not thinking about what you want them to think about, which is, I need to get better here. I need to listen to him. He's telling the truth. So that's another one you got to think about. And let's see. And I would say for you and for me, when there any crisis at Disney World, you got to be present. People got to see you every day. They got to know you're involved. You're taking care of business. And every day at Disney, when there's a hurricane, I didn't come home for 5-6 days. After 9/11, I didn't come home for 3 months. We were working in the office day and night, trying to get our costs down, trying to figure out how to reduce expenses. There's a time when you got to go in the bunker. You got to be present. You got to be in there with the people, and that's what a leader does. And you got to think about it. Don't sit in the office. Don't avoid meeting with people, because it's going to be difficult. They're going to be concerned. They're worried about their future. They're worried about their pay. They're worried about, and you can't help everybody, but you can help somebody every day. For some people, it's just some kind words. For other people, it's having the whole team get together and help buy them some food. Or so for somebody else, it's sometimes it's just understanding what they're going through and giving them some encouragement. And you do what you can. That's all I say. Every time I come into a situation with a person, I do the best I can. Sometimes I can help them, sometimes I can't. But at least I want them to leave and know I tried. That's it. Those are the kind of things that are going to make you so successful. They're going to make you different than all your competitors, because most people right now are so stressed out. They're not doing the right things. They're overreacting. And I'm not saying you shouldn't be cutting your costs and getting expenses down and doing whatever you have to do, but also balance that out with making sure you're spending time with your people, your team, your customers, and not just spend all day long cutting costs, because when this is over, you're going to need people. And by the way, you're going to need your reputation, and people are going to judge you based on how we all get judged on how we handle crisis. We all get judged. Are you calm, cool, collect? Are you know, it's just, somebody said earlier, the gentleman speaking before, attitude is half the battle. If you got a good attitude and you're passionate, the skill level will come, or you'll hire people for the skill level. You'll hire the IT person. You'll hire the engineer. You'll hire the truck driver. You'll hire the lady in the office. But they got to know you've got the right attitude. You're a role model. You're sending that. Role modeling is probably the best training in the world. That when you walk in the office, people are happy to see you because you support them and you're a nice person, and they know you tell the truth. And when you have to be tough, you'll be tough. But just like your mother, when your mother got tough with you, you still love her, because she cares about you. And if you care about your people, then you do the same. Your mother does it because she loves you. You do it because you have respect for your people and want them to be successful. And under stress, a lot of us lose control. We start misbehaving. We don't pay attention. We're daydreaming. We don't get enough sleep, so we come in a bad mood. Most people don't get things done because they don't feel well. Those days when you don't feel well, you're sick, you got a cold, you got the flu, you drank too much, you did that. So the first thing is to make sure you take care of yourself, because if you don't take care of yourself, you can't take care of other people. As my wife told me, Lee, take care of yourself so you can take care of us. And I think that's right. You don't take care of your family first, you take care of yourself first. And then you take care of your family. And then you take care of your business. And if you have any time left over, you can go play soccer. But if you don't, you got to get your priorities straight. Every day, wake up and know. First priority is take care of yourself. If you don't take care of yourself, you can't take care of your customers. If you don't take care of your people, and I guarantee you, people procrastinate for the main reason is they don't feel good. They're tired. They didn't sleep. They ate too much before they went to sleep, and they interrupted their sleep. They didn't drink enough water. There are many reasons, and you got to figure out why. I think about this every day. If I'm not feeling well, I try to think back, why am I feeling this way? And I can usually figure it out. So those are some of the things, and I could talk all day about this. I don't know how long I'm supposed to talk, but I'll be glad to take some questions. I'll direct you to my website, leecockerell.com, if you want to see some other material that's on there. I have a podcast. It comes out every Tuesday morning. It's 15 minutes. It's on leadership, management, and customer service. It's called Creating Disney Magic. It's free. Cost you nothing. So all the finance people will like this because it's free. And if you get your people listening to it, it'll help them become better people. It'll be, people, we've got to get people to taking responsibility for developing in themselves. Don't just depend on the boss. we got to take responsibility. If I'm in IT, I got to take responsibility for keeping up, getting better all the time. Don't just wait for the boss to tell me to take a course or blah, blah, blah. You've got to push your people. And there's so many podcasts today. There's courses online. There's a million ways people can get better personally themselves. And you got to start to talk to your people that you expect them to become experts, to get better, and to spend some of their time learning how to be a better person for your company, how to be a better person for their employees. They got to hear this every day, like your mother. Your mother used to tell you the same thing every day for your whole life, right? Every day, the same thing. Mothers just keep telling you the same thing about education and safety. How many times did your mother tell you exact same thing over and over and over and over and over? Because it's important and people have to hear things. So you got to decide what your people need to hear. And you got to tell them when you see them in the morning, you got to tell them in the afternoon, you got to send the emails, you got to communicate, you got to make sure, because you may get tired of it, but half the people don't hear half the stuff you tell them. They don't understand. You've got to be clear about your expectations. And when you're clear about and by the way, raise the expectations for yourself and then raise the expectations for your team, and you'll get better performance. Half the people don't even know what we expect. We don't tell them. We're not clear. When they don't do it right, we don't sit down and tell them in a training way. I say, don't be a big bad boss, be a teacher. Be a teacher. That's what your mother did your whole life. She was teaching you. You may not have liked it all the time, but she was teaching you. And that's what you got to be thinking. You can't go around intimidating people. You got to teach them, show them. That's all. Those simple things that make us all appreciate other people. And by the way, we all want the same thing. I want people to treat me respectfully. I don't want people trying to humiliate me. I don't want anybody. I don't care if they didn't even go to 5th grade. I'm going to treat people respectfully. They're doing the best they can, and I'm going to try to make them do better. And then one day, it's going to impact their children. When they get better, their children get better. When their children get better, their grandchildren get better. You change a whole lifespan. Even after you're dead, you're still affecting people because you were a good teacher and you taught them. And what you teach your people, they teach their people. What you teach your children, they teach their children. So be careful what you say and do. Be careful what you're teaching. Be careful what you say. Do the hard things. A leader's job is to do what has to be done, when it has to be done, in the way it should be done, whether you like it or not, and whether they like it or not. People don't have to like it, but they have to understand you're doing it for them. It's not for you, it's for them. And tell them that. Hey, this is for you. This is not for me. Your mother did all the things for you, not for her. I mean, she was doing it for you. And don't forget this. This is so, your product is the least of your problems. Your product is the least. By the way, if you treat your people right and involve them and listen to them and include them, they'll come up with some great ideas for you. They know things you don't know that you should know. They know how they can be more productive, and they're not going to tell you unless they trust you. People withhold information, but if they're a part of the team and they feel included and they have a future and people want to help, they want you to be great because it'll make them great. So that's all. I just get everybody in the world to try to think about how can we help people instead of making their life miserable. When they come to work, the sun should shine, because a lot of people are coming from very tough backgrounds and tough home lives, and they don't have a lot. And hopefully they get their inspiration when they come to work because you're a good guiding light for them. You may be more important to them than their own father or their own mother, or you can be that leader in their life. You can be the role model that shows them if you work hard and do this, you can be somebody someday. It's not hopeless, because when people lose hope, you don't want to be in that situation. People will do anything when they lose hope. So your job is to be, help them with their dreams, help them with their education, their development, all those kinds of things. So I don't know. Is that enough? You probably say, good grief. Yeah.
Thank you very much, sir, for that wonderful inspirational and motivational speech. You have taught us how to lead our lives Very informative speech, sir. We have some questions for you, sir. Can I go ahead, sir?
Go ahead.
The first question is from Dr. Janet. What was the biggest crisis incident you faced in your overall experience, and how did you handle it?
Yeah, well, a couple of things that were tough for me. I grew up in a very dysfunctional home. My mother was married 5 times. I've been adopted twice. I got my name Cockerell when I was 16 by husband number 4. I went to college and dropped out because I didn't know how to study. I was not a good student. So I went in the Army, and I started my career as a banquet server, waiter at the Washington Hilton. And the biggest struggle for me in the early years was my insecurity about not having a college degree, about whatever happens to you when you grow up in a dysfunctional family, your lack of self-confidence, your lack of believing in yourself. And so that was the early struggles. And the only thing that got me better is I worked hard, I was reliable, and I have a good attitude. So people started giving me chances. And I figured if you don't have a college degree, you better have a good attitude. And so I got the chance to do things, and I did a really good job. I always tried to be the best person in that job. And then I got promoted. And then I got promoted, and then I got promoted. And eventually, 35 years later, I was in charge of Walt Disney World. So that was the struggle. Personal insecurity of not believing that I could do anything, or I didn't believe in myself. I knew nothing about the world. I'd never been out of Oklahoma until I was 20 years old. I didn't know one black person. I didn't know one Indian. I didn't know one gay person. I'm sure I did, but I didn't know. Everybody, it was a very poor environment for bigotry and racism. And luckily I got out and went to the big city, and I learned that now I've been to 45 countries. I've been to India, been to Vietnam, Cambodia, all over the world. And I literally learned that half the stuff I thought was not true. I was a potential racist. I was a potential bigot, but I got out of the village and went and all my friends, and especially when you work in a hotel, you work with people from every country in the world. And you learn they're great people, and we became friends. And it was probably the best education I got, was being exposure to the world and experience. Education's important, but let me tell you, what's really important is experience and exposure to others, other ideas, other ways of doing things. So that was my breakout. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. A second question from Jeremiah. Regardless of industry or expertise, what is the single most valuable quality that you look for when hiring?
Well, the one thing I want to determine before I hire somebody, I always tell people, hire slow and fire fast. Take your time when you're bringing somebody into your company. And if you make a mistake, get rid of them. You know, you might make a mistake, but I'm looking for somebody that's got perseverance and that I trust. You know, I need people that are organized. They can tell me how they get things done. I'm looking for the same old thing, empathy and discipline. And I want them to give me examples of those two things, because I can teach them what they need to know technically. I can send them back to school to get technically qualified. I can take them to courses. I can send them to internet. But I need integrity, honesty, and I need to trust people before I put them in charge of the team that I'm hiring them for. So I would say that's what I'm looking for, is more about behavior and about values. The technical part is probably the easiest one for me. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. One last question, sir, from Anthony Sebastian. How do you monitor the performance of the people you lead?
How do I monitor the performance? First of all, when I was at Disney, I had my schedule every week, I spend a lot of time out in the operations, 4 or 5 hours in a park, in a hotel, walking the business, finding out what is really happening, not what people are telling me is happening, but going to see for myself. and asking questions and talking to the frontline cast members and seeing if they are actually happy, seeing how they're being treated. And when people trust you, they tell me. I had a confidential voicemail number. People could call and leave me a confidential voicemail without their name and tell me about whatever was going on so I could get involved and fix it. And so I had a comfortable relationship with just about everybody. So they trusted me and they would tell me the truth. And when you know the truth, I knew what to do. And I met with my team usually about once a week. And after a while, I didn't even meet with them. I told them to send me one paragraph on 4 things every week. One paragraph on people issues, somebody they're dealing with, how they're dealing with it, what they're going to do about it, performance, whatever. One paragraph on projects they're working on. Are we on time? Are we on budget? One paragraph on processes, new ways of doing things, of shipping, whatever. And one paragraph on profit. How are we doing on our cost expenses? Those 4 things, they're in my book, Creating Magic. And if I know those 4 things, then I know what's going on. And I don't need to meet with somebody for an hour. Just tell me how we're doing with our people, our processes, our profit, and our projects. Those are 4 things. Tell me, I'll be up to date. If you want to meet with me, just call me. I'll be happy to meet with you anytime, but I don't need to take you away from your work all the time when you can just send me one paragraph every week. So I'm up to date. I can keep my boss up to date, and we're all on the same page. And if you're not making your budget, I can help you. I can give you some assistance. I can get finance involved. I can, whatever it is. I want you to be successful with those projects. So, and sometimes people don't want to tell you. They think they can fix it by themselves. But I told people, involve me. I will help you. I'm not going to be mean to you because you tell me you're behind on a deadline. I'm going to help you meet that deadline. That's my job. And getting people to tell you the truth is really the name of the game. And you helping them, using your influence, your authority, and your position to help them get it done. That's all. And train them and teach them and show them. Yeah.
Thank you very much, sir, for taking all the questions patiently. On behalf of all the participants in this program, I would like to thank you very much for spending your valuable time and sharing your very thoughtful and inspiring message to all of us, sir. Thank you once again, sir.
You're welcome, and good luck to all of you. Be safe, take care of yourselves, and take care of your people.
Thank you very much.
And go tell your wife you love her. Take care.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you, sir.
Bye.